The ultimate curveball potentially coming here. The smile on the face of Quartararo, he looks cool, and then the focused eyes of Marc Marquez. Will be 11th heaven for Marc Marquez, or will the king of the Sachsenring be dethroned? We'll find out very shortly. 30 laps of the German Grand Prix. Front row start in over 2 decades. He goes from third. Then it's Miller. Marc Marquez going for that 11th win here in the Sachsenring. On row 1, the LCR Honda. He's on row 3. Then it's Bagnaia, Brins and Alex Marquez on the 4th row. Binder, Marini, Rossi from row 5. The German Grand Prix is underway, and it's a rocket start there on the outside for Zarco, but Quartararo's coming. The Aprilia of Aleix Espargaro leads then through turns 3 and turn 4. He's slightly wide though on the approach to turn 5. Surely's going to want to try and get to an Aleix Espargaro quickly here. He loves to be leading in the Sachsenring. It's a position he's so accustomed. He's fast left-handed, and he'll attack the Ralph Waldman curve for the first time. Blind entry, flat out in 4th gear on a Motogp bike, and it's as you were. Now will he have a look up the inside? He's not close enough into turn 13 in the background. Brad Binder, oh he is, at the end of lap 1 here in Germany. It's a familiar sight at the Sachsenring. Marc Marquez on the 93 Repsol Honda leading the way. First corner. Miguel Oliveira just struggling to get going in the early stages of this. He's 6th, he's got it. His teammate all over the tail end of him. Started P21, he's in P21 now. Franco Morbidelli had a shocking first lap. He's last, down in 22nd place to turn 13 from Marc Marquez. He came from a long way back to get that one nailed as well. Excellent stuff. He's got that feeling. Let Marc Marquez over there. Side to Aleix Espargaro with some excellent drive though. Down the hill, he pulls up alongside Marc Marquez. He's going to have a look. He's trying to fight back through at turn 13. He made this move on the previous lap. He's made it again. Twitchy by Aleix Espargaro's Aprilia. Look at Miller again up the inside of Fabio Quartararo in the battle for 4th. Maverick Vinales had a nightmare second lap. Was the conk of the pack. Near's up to 12th. From 16th on the grid, but still a lot of work for him to do. That final corner already on the first 2 laps, he's pinched the lead from Aleix Espargaro, and this time can Aleix Espargaro be close enough to retaliate? He had the fight for the podium and maybe even the win. Here comes Zarco then trying to find a way through, but it's that familiar sight out front. It's like rolling back corner because there was no way through for Aleix on the Aprilia down the hill into turn 12. So lap 3 to be completed. Find him further back there then Fabio Quartararo, not where he wanted to be on the 4th lap of this German. The real hard charger. He is a Sunday man. He got the gloves off very early on. He's right on the rear tyre now of his teammate Miguel Oliveira, the factory Ducati rider, looking to find a way through on Zarco. We're on board with the Aussie now. This is the area. Yeah, it was the rear stability here as you're carrying a lot of speed on the left-hand side of the tyre. The wheel spin. Miller just couldn't get that rear tyre hooked up. A little bit later on the brakes, but again there, it looked like the Aprilia man had the better corner speed and momentum through turn number 11, where they want to be across the board. Yeah, Oliveira's got into his groove now. He just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:22.0 there then. 22 flat. They're still some way off that all-time lap record set by Marc Marquez. Oh dear, what's happened here? Alex Marquez needs results to keep his seat in that KTM ride. It just looks like, well, they're both blaming each other, of course. Or further back on Jack Miller, we're on board with him now. Will we see the nose there of Miguel Oliveira? Aleix Espargaro also thinking about now, the man in the top 10. He's much faster than anybody else ahead of him, but he's down in 22nd place after that early mistake for 1. Brad Binder thinking about a move on Fabio Quartararo. Alex Rins doing a great job in the early stages of this one. Is holding off Joan Mir. Mir's getting frustrated in 10th place. Yeah, not the easiest motorcycle to pass anywhere, is it?
Looking at the times, they're doing between half and 3/4 of a second slower than they can on those new, and trying to manage, to make sure he finishes.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. Also, to add to that, some of the guys' pace, although Oliveira is hunting down Jack Miller at the moment. Salvador is crashed. That's going to move along before the cream rises to the top though. Jack Miller, what a lunge that is. If he can get that to stick, it's an into 3rd. We talked about riders having a shocker. Simon Crafar is just reporting from pit lane. There are a few spits of rain at the moment. The Italian, his championship charge is running out of momentum here. He's in 15th right now. Masters in the commentary box. It's like a Moto3 race here as they complete at lap 8. The front, forming behind him, Zarco, Oliveira and Quartararo keen to make the move. Just further back there, Joan Mir is finally through. Going is really good news for Joan Mir. The white flag has been displayed. Now that means that at any point now you can come in to change for wets. If you'll be able to see the leader and he'll be thinking, hang on,
This actually could turn into quite the day.
I just wondered with those few rains where over the line Marquez was leading by just a quarter of a second, and in 3 sectors he's pulled the pin. The Repsol Honda man, he's just
Polish Fargo is through on Martin. Oliveira is through on Zarco. Oliveira now starting to charge. Jack Miller trying to corner. Drama, here goes Oliveira. That's brave on the curbs. There are spots of rain falling and he slings it up.
His hand over fist. The spots of rain just seem to be disturbing the Aprilia man.
Unbelievable. Can you believe this?
So Marc Marquez has got his head down here now. He's 1.5 seconds clear of Jack Miller in sector 2.
Simon, yeah, exactly. Let's go out, all out attack, and if you're comfortable with mixed conditions, that's what you need to do. Here comes Miguel Oliveira.
Holds up that advantage. He's perfectly placed to then make the call. He's been so good at judging changing track conditions. Quartararo fires.
So clearly not comfortable with the rain falling in this early stage. And the approach now then into turn 1.
Big risk. These two men, they know that a mistake now could be really costly.
Here he comes up the inside.
Nice. Yeah.
He's been lining that one up. The dress rehearsal comes.
Number 12. Nowhere near halfway at the moment.
There's a lot here with Johan Zarco looking at fellow Frenchman Fabio Quartararo. They are 1 and 2 in the World Championship, but they would lose ground
through sector 1 on this 12th lap. Let's keep tabs on Oliveira. Marquez through sector 2. Actually,
you just go out there and burn up the tyres thinking it's going to rain, and then it doesn't. Then they might, but let's see how it all pans out. There's Quartararo then still ahead of Zarco in the battle for 5th. Binder behind them, Mir in 8th, Martin 9th.
Almost 3 seconds out of contention. Oliveira's just set the fastest lap of the race. He's down to a 120.
Wall cheering on their riders. And at the moment, any one of about 8 could probably win this one. They're delivering 21s for fun. Is one coming here?
Tyre preservation mapping just to soften the power. We expect with about 10 laps to go is where the significant drop-off will. That is a real tyre punishing race for Michelin. It's all about who can manage the left grip.
He's doing a great job, the rookie 9th at the moment, ahead of Pole. That silver boot from Polish Park Road.
Oliveira, they exchanged fastest laps of the race. Predicted race pace pre-race was a 21.9, so we're better than...
And HRC, Honda, Marc Marquez himself. The nerves will be jangling now.
Oliveira at the moment on a quicker riders by quite some distance. The only 2 men that are in the 121s. Miller set his personal best lap.
Keeping a keen eye on proceedings. Pit buyer, a KTM Motorsport director.
There's a bit of product placement there as well.
1.8 the gap between Marquez and Oliveira in 2nd. It's still Miller in 3rd and Aleix Espargaro 4th with Quack. It will be now 14 laps completed.
What's the pace?
16 to go.
Yeah, Marquez again. He responded, he's man behind him, and again there's nobody else in the race that can find a 121. Miller and Aleix Espargaro and Fabio Quartararo.
Be a lonely race though, won't it, for Marc Marquez? It would be some story.
Oh, what a story it would
but
be.
There's a long error.
Just cannot get that gap down to under 1.7 seconds. There are 2 Yamaha men really struggling. Maverick Vinales here for company.
This was the move for the World Championship leader. He needed to do that.
Couldn't have. He knows that there's a podium up for grabs here because Miller's dropping into the sort of mid-22s. Quartararo's not underpassing as well and secure what would be a really strong podium for Quartararo.
It's come down to 1.6 in sector 3.
Managing the rear tyre, the rear grip better through those fast lefts, the 7, 8, 9, 10 approach.
Binder goes through on Zarco.
Yeah, that's impressive. Marc Marquez then back in the 22s. Binder and Zarco coming from 16th. Enormous credit you should give to Mir on a track notoriously hard to overtake on. He's done a lot of work just to get out well.
This gap at the front is going to come down now. I think Miguel Oliveira is starting to get into his groove. It's the first time through
at the moment. This has happened for a couple laps now. It's Pecco Bagnaia, but he's really paying dearly for that 10th place on the grid. Then
comes Quartararo. He could see that Miller was struggling there on the exit of turn 11. Quartararo, the Frenchman, the championship leader, then is onto the podium. Again, across the line, the leaders come. It's a 21.9. It's 1.4 seconds between Marquez and Oliveira.
Just to go, so we're 1 lap away from where it's really all about tyre management and who's got the best grip for those last 10 laps. Quickest man on circuit right now, we keep mentioning is Bagnaia. He was down to a 21.849. He did so on medium rear tyres. He has got race-winning pace, Bagnaia, but he's paying so much for that heavy traffic in qualifying yesterday.
Fortunately for him, it's not going to be a podium. The Italian with 11 laps to go. He might still get something on offer though. There's lots to play for in here, and out front, the gap's going to come down again. It's a Another couple of tenths being shaved off here.
Now where Oliveira's nibbled time away from Marc Marquez. They're a long way clear, those two.
Bagnaia, he's stuck behind Jorge Martin at the moment. If he can get past him, he can get involved in this group.
He's got to put a move on Martin soon. Can't afford to get stuck behind Martin for any longer, simple as that.
Quartararo trying to get into his edges of this race, just a bit further behind there. Brad Binder now a pest to Aleix Espargaro, trying to get through and take so much confidence flowing for his race. He's coming, here comes Brad Binder now up the inside of Aleix Espargaro, having a good ride this.
Was able to immediately drop back straight from the 21s. He's again the fastest man on the circuit, is the Italian. Do you know what? Well, when he comes unstuck here, but he has got podium pace unquestionably.
Well, there's at the same time. Now, wouldn't that be something?
A cracking ride by Binder. He was last at the end of FP1. Something at 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, doesn't he?
Binder then, is he going to have a look at Aleix Espargaro? 1.1 between Marquez and Oliveira.
And again, it must be now double figure laps in succession that Oliveira's been 1.1 seconds time in his pocket as well. 7 laps to go. Pressure building on Marc Marquez.
Up ahead. 7 laps to go, but it's a short circuit out front. 1.1 through sector 1. Marc Marquez leads. The Sport, has he just gone in a bit hot? A first mistake in the race from Marc Marquez then, but it hasn't really affected anything. It's Takeo Okiyama. They don't know where to look at the moment. It's a second through sector 3, so it's going to be under a second, you'd feel.
They returned to the Premier Class in 1982, winless since Marquez's triumph in Valencia 2019. Slightly quicker, just under a tenth faster than Marc Marquez as we start lap 25.
Right now, that's not going to everything that's gone on over the last year, given everything that's happened this weekend as well. He'll see on his pit board that time is tumbling.
See Marquez on the gas through turn 6 and then down the hill through turn 7. That rear tyre underneath him is starting to squirm around. Excuse that medium rear tyre. How much life has he got left in it to hold Oliveira at bay?
It's the man of the era through sector 3. What does it look like on the approach to turn 13? Santi Hernandez there,
just continuing to egg his man on. It's under a second. It is under a second. 9 tenths then splits Marquez.
This, he'll hold on.
Stunning performance this by Pecco Bagnaia. 10 laps ago the guy was 15th. As soon as he clicked into his rhythm, and Zarco.
Yeah, great job from Bagnaia. We've said it so often in Motogp, which he'll lose time there through sector 2. Then he's gone slightly wide as well. Yeah, will that prick the ears up of Miguel Oliveira?
Again through. He's running out of grip here, big time on that rear.
Here is Quartararo. He would extend his lead going into Assen. Bigger problems at the moment as well. He's dropped to 8th, in this race. Here comes Marquez then. 4 laps to go.
Marquez just to keep that 9 tenths, 1 second buffer. Oliveira has thrown absolutely everything at us into some kind of mistake.
There are journalists at the moment in the media centre and around the world typing up the biggest cut, all of that.
Well, there's been some great motorcycling comebacks. You think of Mick doing in 1992 his horrible legging 300 winner last weekend after such a serious back injury. But this would be a fairy tale for Marc Marquez.
And there'll only be 3 laps to go when we cross the line next time.
Yeah, we'll keep a very close eye at Pit Byra. Yeah, Marquez, 1.2 seconds. Of course, we were thinking about how Marquez was broken that resistance because there was a big gap, significant gap on that last lap between the pairs.
It's 1.5, it's done. It's done in terms of him. He's through on Jack Miller. We had KTM 2nd and 3rd. Excellent from the South African. Pecco bagging
more than race distance on that medium rear tyre. He's got so much knowledge, information. He knows he was going to be quick at this stage of the race. Marquez has been absolutely phenomenal, supreme. It looks like he's finally broken Oliveira's resistance to gap now.
Last July, when we returned to MotoGP action, the biggest crash of Marc Marquez. It's been a sorry story, it's been a sad one. He had an emotional return in Portimao. Now he's on the Britain run. May well continue here. He's just got a lap and 3/4 of the Sachsenring circuit left.
The only man that can beat Marc Marquez in this Grand Prix now is Marc Marquez himself. And when he's normally in these positions, he gets the job done.
His determination to come back, to compete. He worked so hard in that test in Catalonia. He wanted to be ready for this one.
And what must be going through the minds of everybody connected to Marc Marquez? He has been through Humus in Jerez last year. Nobody can imagine the mental and physical turmoil that this man has gone through over the last a fairy tale victory here in the Sachsenring.
Alberto Puig looking on. He's had some tough times in the last few months. Marquez,
He is going to remain the undisputed king of the Sachsenring. What a comeback, what a return.
he's out. He is back, ladies and gentlemen, and still the king of the ring, Marc Marquez.
Story. It is 11, it is heaven for Marc Marquez. Can you believe it? He's done it now 11 years.
Full scenes, incredible. Shout out to the KTM guys as well. They're second and fourth. The Repsol Alberto Puig as well. Remarkable.
Honda were in their worst losing streak since returning to MotoGP. Moment for Marc Marquez. Can you believe it?
You could see it in his eyes on the grid, Sachsenring, and quite rightly, he will set off the fireworks here. And there will be fireworks going on in the garage. Get Miller on the final lap to finish in fifth. He'll be wondering what might have been. But all of the headlines and he's with Simon.
Alberto, he's getting hugs from the whole team. How do you feel? And what do you think of your...
Yeah, the fans at home, everybody that's associated or watches MotoGP will have thought at some point, well, he's dancing again now.
And you can just see Marc Marquez, he's not a rider, he's not a character. That why the tears are flooding now, because that was amazing. Looks like the marshals or somebody there's the Sachsenring. 11 years in a row he's now won here. Fabio Quartararo third place when you think that Miller dropped to sixth. Zarco bitterly disappointing from the Frenchman. Pole.
Let's hear from Mike Leitner. What a great day for KTM as well. Miguel Oliveira gave it everything. He's second and an excellent job from him.
Great result for the team, for KTM. It's super. I mean, it was one lap, the lap where this rain comes, and this made the gap, and then was very difficult to. Brett did an outstanding race from the grid, from 13th position, and
started falling. The man and the master of mixed conditions decided that was the time for the celebrations then that the whole of the Repsol Honda team have been waiting for.
Can imagine what this young man's been through over the last 11 months or so. He would have done. Miguel Oliveira, I remember Miguel on Friday afternoon saying, hey, Marc Marquez is the clear favourite. And Marc,
the second ever rider to take 8 consecutive wins in the same circuit in the Premier class in 10, 11, which you hear in Germany. Fabio Quartararo was not wrong.
But he's been pushed that hard for a win in the Sachsenring. These celebrations hopefully will go on long into the night, because this man is here to stay at the front of MotoGP races as well. 3 podiums in successive year in MotoGP. It's Marc Marquez that comes to the top step of the podium in the Sachsen. Baumann, Liquid Moly Marketing Director, hands over the race-winning prize, a first since Valencia 2019. Jan Stovacek, the FIM board member, hands over third place trophy to world champion leader Fabio Quartararo, his 19th career Portuguese rider. Peter Baumann having the honours as well. Again, 5th career podium for Oliveira in MotoGP. 28-year-old Spaniard Marc Marquez. His 83rd Grand Prix win, his 57th in MotoGP. One